Last night, my scraper broke. I woke up this morning and an AI had already fixed the bug and pushed a PR for it. This is the moment I realized AI stopped being an assistant and became a real teammate. The new Codex SDK is absolutely insane, and today I'll show you how that's even possible to do this. If you're new here, I'm Remi, a software engineer turned AI builder. I've been writing code for 15 years, but this is the first time that code has been writing back to me. Stick around till the end because I left a trap for the AI and let's see if it falls for it. All right, let's dive in. So OpenAI released Codex months ago as its new model for coding. Codex Cloud, it's been better and better every single day. Now what they released last week is the Codex SDK. It's giving the ability to trigger Codex from your code. It's in Node right now. It doesn't support Python yet. So Codex is not built into N8N yet, so I had to wire it using GitHub Actions, and I'll show you how in a second. All right, so before diving in, there's a few prerequisites that you need to set up. The very first one is you need to create an OpenAI API key. So that's step one. Step two of the actions, generals, and the settings, make sure you allow GitHub Actions to create and approve pull requests. So let me show you the demo that I've set up today. In here, we're going to be scraping a random e-commerce Magento site that looks like this. It's very basic. It has a title. You're seeing the stock, you're seeing the SKU number, you're seeing a price, and a description. That's it. I've set up a very basic script. There's 3 different levels from easiest to hardest. In the first one, it's scraping the price. And if there's no price, it's throwing an error, and it's also dumping some artifacts for debugging purposes. And we're going to be using that later on for Codex. So as you can see, it scraped level 1 here, and it found that it was missing the price. As you can see, the price was none. There is an issue in the CSS selector that's on purpose. So here's the GitHub Actions. So I have a run levels. That's just a basic script that runs the Python different version, level 1, level 2, level 3. At the end, it just uploads the artifact directly. So GitHub Action has access to it, and I can get that from the other workflow as well. And this one, the Codex self-healing, gets triggered when the main workflow completes and actually fails. It's downloading the artifact from the failed run, so that's from the other one. It can't share across, so you have to upload, download. This is where all the magic happens with Codex. So it uses OpenAI's Codex action. You pass in your API key, that's what I defined earlier, and then you are passing in your prompt, and that's obviously a very important part of the process here. Now in my example, I'm fixing a Python Selenium scraper, so I'm trying to be a bit more specific. I do not want Codex to install anything, launch browsers, or run code. I just didn't want it to waste any time doing that. So all it's doing is it's using the files that are generated as part of the artifacts. That's part of the CI artifacts here. I'm just asking it to look at the HTML of the page that it failed on, and then just look at the traceback just so it knows exactly what happened, and it has the context to fix the CSS selectors as needed. And then in the acceptance criteria, I'm just giving it a bit more information. And that's an important one. It's also where I define the rule about if the page being scraped is no longer available, 400 or 500, add a comment at the top of the file indicating that and explain why. You could use the prompt for better linting, for upgrading deprecated APIs or packages. You could be writing or updating unit tests. This is just in my use case here, but the prompt is very easy to update in plain English. And then the very last step, that's also the step recommended by OpenAI directly, is to use this specific action to create a pull request. So you're passing in the commit message, the branch, the base, the title, and the body. All right, I have a few minor changes here, and I'm gonna push the changes, and we should see it all fail on GitHub Actions as part of the CI, and it will trigger Codex automatically. All right, so as you can see here, it's running the scraper. It's trying to run all the tests. It's trying to run level 1, and as expecting, we're getting the exception that I was getting locally as well. So because it failed, and I'm having it to fail directly, so it's not even running level 2 yet, then it's triggering my other job called Codex autofix on failure. And now this one is running. All right, so it's running Codex now. It's actually installing the Codex SDK. It's showing the prompts that I passed in earlier and thinking. It got all the artifacts and the different levels. It's actually looking at the code just to get an understanding of the entire repo. It's looking at the HTML and TXT, which are the artifacts. So it's saying examining HTML content. So it's parsing through the HTML to find exactly what happened. It's running through all those steps very quickly. So now it's actually showing the git diff that it's about to push, and then starting to push a PR for it. And I didn't have to do anything. All right, the job is done. In less than 2 minutes, it actually fixed my code. Now let's see the PR that it pushed. All right, so this is the PR that it pushed. So this is the run 10 is what it failed on. It's giving me the exact link that I was looking for, the branch that it was on. It's operating off of main. And there you go. As you can see, it found the right CSS selector to update, and it just updated that. It updated nothing else. So I'm just going to go ahead and merge that PR, and then it's going to run level 2. In the level 2, we're going a little bit deeper. We're trying to get all of the information based on the specific data class. So we're trying to get all of this information directly from the scrape. And then at the end, we're doing a small validator, and that requires to have the price, the SKU, and availability. All right, so I just ran level 2 and it's generating all of the information for me, although as you can tell, it's missing the availability. So we're gonna have the AI fix that shortly, and it's also raising an exception on the fact that it's missing availability. That's also on purpose. All right, so in the meantime, it's running through the CI. It's gonna pass level 1 because it's passing here, and it's gonna fail on level 2. And so we're gonna be troubleshooting which of the many CSS selectors, and there's a lot more because as I said before, we're getting everything from that page, and even each element has multiple selectors just in case. So we're going to see what the AI does to fix that. It failed on level 2 as expected, and it's going to run Codex on level 2 based on the error that was thrown. And there we go, we're running Codex again. Same prompt. As you can see, it's moving pretty quickly and thinking and analyzing. It goes faster than I would go for sure. In 1 minute and 43 seconds. So let's take a look at what it generated. So here is the PR that it recommended. Something about stock display. I don't know if that's correct or not. So you can always test that locally, right? You could switch to that branch if you want to test it. Yeah, actually, let me do that. Let me just quickly switch branches. So the stock display is now here. Let's run it and see if the availability is populated. Yes, it was none before, and now it actually says in stock, which is exactly what we're looking for. So that fixed it. I'll approve the PR and merge. So in level 1 and level 2, we're testing for things that should work and that stop working with the CSS selectors. With level 3, I want to test something a bit different. I want to test a case of the URL that I'm scraping. I added an extra A at the end, so it actually returns a 404 on that page. I want to see what happens when the page starts returning a 404. Should it update and look for a CSS selector when there isn't any on the page? Or will the AI be smart enough to figure out, hey, this is a 404, there's nothing for me to do here. Run level 3. All right, so I just ran it, and as you can see, it also has price none and same error here. All right, so trying one more time. It's running the tests. Again, it should pass level 1, level 2 without any issues. It got the availability in level 2, which is great. So it passed level 2. Now it failed in level 3 because it's missing the price. And again, that's because the URL is returning a 404. It's actually a trap. There's no CSS selector to change there. Let's see if the AI is smart enough to detect that. All right, it's running Codex again. Same prompt, different files. Trying to do some thinking around a 404 right now, which is probably in the right direction. All right, so it seems to have noticed that that was a 404. It specifically left a note at the top of the level 3, just like my instructions asked. Note the product URL returns a 404. So no price selector will match until the page is restored. Good, that's exactly what I was looking for. I didn't want it to really spin up and refactor the code. I didn't want it to go crazy at fixing this. There is no fix unless someone changes the URL to a working product. So you would get that PR notification. You know exactly it's a 404. You just save 30 minutes at least. All right, so I have to say AI passed all the 3 different levels. It got me exactly what I needed, and each time it took less than 2 minutes. Now imagine if that pipeline worked for linting, updating deprecated APIs, or upgrading your dependencies, fixing very small unit tests. You wouldn't have to deal with all that. All you have to do is review, test, and ship it. The future is more than vibe coding. It might be via maintaining. If you want the YAML workflow or access to the repo, I'll put the link in the description. And if you're into AI scraping or just smart automation, join my Scraping Edge community. It's completely free and you'll be surrounded with builders like you. All right, I'll see you in the next one.